Hello there, thanks for joining me this Tuesday on 7Edition. I'm Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan and here are the top stories. Prime Minister assures no other tax to be introduced this year except for sugar tax. Police launch internal probe on 3 policemen over alleged graft. And suspect arrested over shooting in Netherlands. Good evening. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said there will be no new tax for this year except for sugar tax, which was announced in the 2019 budget. He said that beginning next year, the government will use the revenue collected from this tax to provide free and healthy breakfast program for all primary school children.
There will be no new tax for this year except for sugar tax, which we have already announced. It is delayed a bit as we want to ensure that the mechanism is effective to primarily meet our health objectives.
The excise tax of 40 cents per litre on sweetened beverages, which was supposed to start on April 1st, 2019, has been postponed to July 1st, 2019. At the same event, Dr. Mahathir said Malaysia and Singapore may need at least 3 to 4 more bridges to facilitate traffic flow between the two countries.
Singapore traffic is much bigger than Penang. We have one causeway and one bridge, and we need at least 3 or 4 more bridges. But for some reason which I cannot understand, Singapore doesn't want any more bridges.
Commenting on the raw water deal conflict with Singapore, the Premier gave his assurance that efforts were underway to find an amicable solution to the issue.
Meanwhile, the Premier said the Pakatan Harapan-led government spent a good part of its first year to plug the almost bottomless pit created by One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB, that siphoned and squandered tens of billions of ringgit from the people.
Now we are no longer known as a nation of kleptocrats. I cannot imagine the disaster the nation would have been if the majority of Malaysians did not rise to the occasion. We averted the financial disaster awaiting to happen if the Ponzi scheme to cover the IMDB hole was not discovered and reversed.
Tun Dr. Mahathir, who is also PH chairman, said that in the 10 months of its administration, the government was fully aware of the feelings of the people on the ground. He stressed that the extent of the damage done by the previous administration was not an exaggeration, as the PH government unearthed new damages almost on a daily basis. Tun Dr. Mahathir said that although the task has yet to be concluded and may take several years to solve, the government has to move on to start developing the nation.
A total of 75,352 government pensioners will receive a one-off 500 ringgit special payment starting tomorrow. The Public Service Department said the assistance was in line with the 2019 budget, aimed at individuals who were receiving pensions of less than 1,000 ringgit a month. In a statement today, it said the list of eligible recipients was identified in collaboration with the Department of Veterans Affairs to ensure that one-off assistance was paid to eligible pensioners. It added a thorough vetting process was carried out through various agencies such as the Inland Revenue Board, LHDN, Employees Provident Fund, EPF, and Accountant General's Department of Malaysia. Other agencies include State Treasurers, the Social Security Organisation, SOCSO, Companies Commission of Malaysia, SSM, and Road Transport Department, JPJ. The 1.5-kilometre stretch of Sungai Kim Kim in Pasir Gudang, Johor, where toxic waste was illegally dumped, has been cleaned up and is now safe. The authorities will, however, continue to monitor the situation at the site for the next 15 days to ensure the water and air quality in the surrounding area are clean.
Selepas 17 Mac di mana kerja pembersihan telah habis, micro cleaning juga habis micro cleaning selepas pembersihan kita pun buat. Selepas itu pemantauan telah dibuat berterusan selama 2 hari sudah. So hari ini kita sangat yakin bahawa kualiti udara di tempat pembuangan di mana dia adalah yang paling serius adalah selamat. Cleaning juga habis.
She was speaking to reporters at the State Disaster Management Committee's operations room in Pasir Gudang. During the cleaning process, a total of 900 tons of contaminated substance and 1,500 tons of contaminated water were cleared. Yeo said 30 teams comprising DOE members and chemistry department personnel were deployed to 30 schools around the affected area today to monitor air quality by using gas detectors. All 30 schools were located within 3 to 9 kilometres from Sungai Kim Kim. Meanwhile, a total of 73 patients affected by the toxic fumes from chemical waste dumped into Sungai Kim Kim in Pasir Gudang, Johor recently have been discharged from hospitals. However, State Health, Environment and Agriculture Committee Chairman Dr. Sarudin Jamal said 22 new patients were receiving treatment at hospitals as of midnight on Tuesday. Sarudin said only 2 patients were still being treated at intensive care units ICU, but both were reported to be in stable condition. He added the closure notice for all 111 schools, 92 kindergartens and childcare centres in Pasir Gudang, Tebrau and Tenggara since last Thursday would continue to be in effect until further notice. Some 30 personnel from the Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change Ministry have been continuously monitoring air quality in the affected areas since the crisis broke out. Meanwhile, Johor Menteri Besar Dato' Osman Sapian has instructed the Department of Environment DOE to investigate several alleged cases of dumping of chemical waste in the Masai area. He also said the area should be entirely closed for the clean-up until a complete report is obtained from the DOE. Several blue barrels believed to be used as containers of chemical effluents were found near Sungai Sembilang, behind Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Taman Tanjung Putri Resort. The school is one of the several where the students had felt the impact of toxic fumes that had emanated from the chemical waste dumped into Sungai Kim Kim 12 days ago. Dr. Osman in a statement said strict action must be taken against those responsible for dumping effluents illegally. He also urged the public to keep away from the affected area and abide by the safety regulations. Now, Sultan of Johor, Sultan Ibrahim Almarhum Sultan Iskandar has cancelled the royal tea reception and state banquet to be held next week in conjunction with his birthday celebration. Sultan Ibrahim said the decision was made because he was saddened by the suffering of his people due to the chemical waste pollution in Pasir Gudang, Johor Bahru. His decision was relayed through a statement issued to the Royal Press Office and uploaded on his official Facebook page today, where he explained that he did not want to be in a joyous occasion when his people were facing difficulty and suffering. Sultan Ibrahim also said that with the cancellation of the events, it would enable officials from various departments and agencies to focus on cleaning works at Sungai Kim Kim. The royal tea reception and the state banquet were originally scheduled for March 24th and 25th, respectively. Fourteen persons have been remanded over allegations of a protection money racket involving reflexology centre operators. Putrajaya Magistrate Ahmad Ashraf Muhammad Kamal allowed the suspects to be remanded until Friday to assist in the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission's MACC probe. 7 of the suspects were 3 policemen, including a station chief, 3 DBKL enforcement officers, as well as a fireman. The others were 4 premises owners and gang members who had been greasing the palms of enforcers to allow them run their multi-million ringgit operations. It was reported that the MACC had conducted a sting to establish the money trail of the lucrative prostitution business. The Graftbusters even set up its own reflexology center as a bait to nab the suspects. The MACC has identified 146 illegal massage parlors in Kuala Lumpur, all offering sexual services. Another 345 centers with valid licenses are mostly their direct competitors, also offered illegal services.
In the meantime, the police have started an internal probe on the 3 policemen who allegedly provided protection to massage parlors for kickbacks.
Jadi sekiranya penyeliaan ada berlaku kelemahan penyeliaan ataupun ada perkara-perkara kita terlibat dengan perkara-perkara yang isu-isu integriti ini, kita akan ambil tindakan. Dan sekarang ini siasatan dijalankan oleh pihak SPRM dan kita pun tak dapat tapi dimaklumkan seperti mana yang saya baca ni, bukan dilaporkan oleh bawah saya, di akhbar-akhbar aja bahawa mereka ini melindungi pusat pelacuran dan sebagainya. Jadi kita akan siasat secara dalaman. Jeep saya telah arahkan untuk menjalankan siasatan di peringkat jabatan kita.
He said all state and district police chiefs have been instructed to counter illegal gambling and vice activities. The top cop added that action will be taken against any police personnel involved in such activities.
On another corruption case, 3 individuals, including a senior officer of a commission, have been remanded for 5 days from today to facilitate investigations into an alleged project scandal involving the company's Commission of Malaysia (SSM) worth 30 million ringgit. Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC obtained the remand order from Magistrate Ahmad Ashraf Muhammad Kamal against a senior officer and 2 others who were directors of information technology IT companies in the capital. The 3 men, aged 44 to 56, were remanded until March 23rd. All 3 were detained at their respective offices and homes around Petaling Jaya, Selangor and Kuala Lumpur yesterday. According to MACC sources, the senior officer was alleged to have abetted the 2 IT companies to obtain approval to offer certified software certificates services without following the regulations as stipulated under the purview of the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC). The investigations are being carried out under the MACC Act. And after the break, Datuk Sri Alif Shukri and his crazy antics strikes again. Just a little different. Details next. Welcome back. Now let's hop on to our daily segment Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Datuk Sri Ali Shukri may strike many Malaysians as a controversial figure, with some even labelling him an attention seeker, no thanks to his endless social media postings. More often than not, videos of his antics posted online would draw a slew of criticism. But his latest postings seem to have turned the tables for the homegrown cosmetic millionaire. Recently, the 31-year-old businessman was seen in Bukit Bintang collecting donations to help the less fortunate. Well, it might be a publicity stunt after all, but that's for you to decide. Here's the story.
The videos posted on his Instagram and YouTube channel went viral, which accumulated over 650,000 views. In his Instagram post, he was ashamed to put himself out to the public to sell selfies at first, but he gained the courage to do it anyway. The video saw Datuk Sri Alif Shukri offering himself to the public for 1 ringgit selfies as an act to raise funds to help the poor. In his post, he also wrote that 1 ringgit may seem to be a small amount, but it could be very valuable for those who needed them. At the end of the day, he managed to collect around 1,000 ringgit and donated the money to those in need. His act drew positive reactions from netizens, where they even encouraged him to do more good deeds and further contribute to the society in the future.
And now updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. Over the past 7 years, e-commerce has continued to add value and contribute to the country's gross domestic product GDP, growing to 8.8 billion ringgit in 2017, with an average annual growth rate of 12.5%. By 2020, e-commerce, which is substantially driven by online shopping, is expected to generate 9.8 billion ringgit in revenue. So for one thing for sure is that brands and companies out there will now have to seriously consider an online presence if they want to continue keeping afloat in our competitive retail industry. But are retailers in Malaysia ready to adopt this new approach?
Many Malaysians may be impressed by the growth of e-commerce in this country. Online shopping platform Shopee, however, said our online retail industry is actually still 10 years behind China, with less than 2% of market penetration. This could change in the near future as the local retail industry is now seeking online platforms such as Shopee to break their limitation of geographical reach and restricted customer range.
The biggest thing that restricts traditional brick and mortar shops from expanding is essentially where they're located, right? So some of our retailers that we work with, they are very, very strong in Peninsular Malaysia, but they're not necessarily strong in East Malaysia, and that we find ways to help them reach out to markets that they are not already present in, and that's how we grow with them.
For big retailers like Senheng, with the online to offline O2O commerce strategy adapted in its business strategy, their physical stores now serve as its experimental centers. Such centers where customers get to choose, touch, see and feel the products available and even consult the promoters about them.
We have full product SKU over the online. So now all Malaysians can click and check over the online. And then we sift them to come to our shop nationwide. We have 113 shops nationwide. So we give them full of experience. And because of that, online traffic moved to online. So both our business grow and our traffic grow in the shop. So totally different if it's just online alone or even just offline alone.
The seamless business model is expected to bring Senheng about 1.5 billion ringgit growth this year, with 15% or 220 million ringgit coming from its online sales. The view on the importance of providing an omni-channel experience to customers is also shared by Mr. DIY, which handles 480 stores nationwide as well as 200 international stores.
We believe that the e-commerce is a very good ecosystem that can create a very well omni-channel retail experience for our consumer. We can bring more convenience to our current consumer. So although we are everywhere in Malaysia, we have a lot of stores across each area, but we figure out we actually couldn't reach to all the small kampong or small places in whole Malaysia. So with the assistance of e-commerce, as long as the courier can reach that area, our product is able to help these people to bring more convenience to them.
Due to this, it is now more important than ever for brands and retailers to coexist with a new strategy instead of making it an enemy.
I don't feel that retailers should see us as a threat. I think what retailers should see us as is an additional channel for the distribution. Right, I think that's essentially what they should do with us, and what we have done with a lot of our retailers, like I was mentioning earlier, like Metro Jaya, like Watsons, like Mr. DIY, like Maidin, is to expand both their user base as well as their top line to help them do better. I think what we can potentially do as well with some of these retailers is to convert their offline retail shop into more of an experience center. But a lot of the purchase can actually be pushed online.
Apple Incorporation, in a surprise move on Monday, has launched a new iPad Air and at the same time updated its long-in-the-tooth but popular tablet, the iPad Mini, on Monday, ahead of its video streaming service announcement next week. The upgraded models offer keyboard support for the first time and work with the Apple Pencil. This marks the first upgrade to the iPad Mini since the fall of 2015 and brings popular features of the iPad Pro to its smaller counterparts. And when we return, boy steals hearts of thousands with touching sacrifice. Stay with us. Welcome back. Police in the Netherlands have arrested a suspect following a shooting in the city of Utrecht, in which 3 people were killed and 5 others were wounded, some seriously. The suspect, Gökmen Tennis, a 37-year-old born in Turkey, was found in a building about 3 kilometers away from the scene after a massive 8-hour manhunt. So far, his motive remains unknown. Police at the moment are still investigating a possible terrorist link, but cannot exclude that it may have been a family dispute. They added that 2 other men were also arrested in connection with the attack, but no further details about them were revealed. Following the incident, mourners began to lay flowers on Tuesday at the site of the attack near the 24 October Plain Square in memory of the victims who have not yet been formally identified. And now, as the work week starts on Monday, New Zealanders, especially those in the city of Christchurch, struggle to regain a sense of normalcy. This after the country saw its worst ever mass shooting, where a gunman brutally opened fire, killing 50 people at 2 mosques on Friday. People in Christchurch continued to come together in mourning, with locals and visitors alike piling flowers and lining personal notes on the wall of Christchurch's Botanic Garden, a location that has become a meeting point for people mourning the recent attack in a show of solidarity with the city's Muslim community. After days of intense grieving from New Zealand's harrowing massacre, attention began to turn to how the country's gun laws need to change and what warning signs might have been missed ahead of the gunman's attack. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said her cabinet had made in-principle decisions on changes to gun laws, which she would announce next Monday, saying now was the time to act on tightening access to firearms. Last Friday's attack, which saw a lone gunman massacre worshippers at 2 mosques in the South Island city, left 50 people dead and another 50 injured. Authorities said 30 people who were injured in the Christchurch mass shootings are still in hospital, 9 of whom are in critical condition. Now, a young boy's sacrifice in regards to the Christchurch shootings has warmed the hearts of thousands. This after a New Zealand resident by the name of Samuel Sen shared how his son, Dash, wanted a laptop as a birthday present in a Facebook post on Sunday. However, just as he was about to buy the gift, Dash told his father that he would rather get flowers to pay tribute to the victims of the Christchurch shooting instead. Samuel, shocked upon hearing his son's reply, asked Dash again if he was absolutely sure about not getting a laptop for his birthday, one that he wanted for a very long time. Instead of changing his mind, Dash requested for the money to be donated to the people who need it more in Christchurch. After the post went viral, which was shared over 2,000 times, many people were touched by the 9-year-old boy's gestures. In light of New Zealand's darkest days, Dash's sacrifice is definitely a balm for the soul, especially for those who were affected in the tragedy. And that wraps up 7 Edition this evening.